واستطاعت المرأة الكويتية أن تسلك السلك القضائي، وهذا طبعا مؤخرا الشهر الماضي أصبحت المرأة قاضية. وطبعا هذا القرار كان يعني عدد كبير، شريحة كبيرة كانوا ضد هذا القرار ورافضينه، خصوصا شريحة الإسلاميين. فلذلك يعني الأمور اللي فيها دعم للمرأة وتخص المرأة تكون دائما لهم مواقف سلبية. فطبعا أنا أعتذر على الموقف اللي حصل، وحابة أبارك ل9 قاضيات في الكويت، أول قاضيات في تاريخ الكويت، وهذا طبعا بداية كسر السقف الزجاجي للمرأة. احنا المرأة الكويتية حصلت على استطاعت أن تحصل على الكثير من المناصب، المرأة بشكل مشرف، ليس فقط المرأة الكويتية بل الخليجية والعربية. استطاعت المرأة أن تكون سفيرة، وتقلدت منصب أول مديرة جامعة في الشرق الأوسط. وطبعا في عهد الشيخ صباح أحمد الصباح حفظه الله ورعاه، المرأة كانت أول وزيرة، وحصلت على وصلت المرأة الكويتية إلى البرلمان، وحصلنا على حقوقنا السياسية. وطبعا هذه كانت لحظة تاريخية، راح نشوف الفيديو الحين. وأيضا دخلت المرأة إلى السلك العسكري عن طريق الضباط الداخلية والشرطة، وكذلك السلك وزارة الدفاع بالجيش. وأخيرا اللي هو الشهر الماضي استطاعت المرأة أن تدخل السلك القضائي. طبعا هذه كلها أخبار احنا تفرحنا، ولكن نطمح للأفضل ونطمح للأكثر ونريد الأفضل. يا ريت بس نشوف اللحظة التاريخية للدولة المرأة الكويتية لما حصلت على حقها السياسي، في أن لها الحق أنها تصوت بالانتخابات، وهذا كان عام 2004. يا ريت تحط لنا الفيديو أخ فراس.
إيه إن شاء الله الحين.
يلا حط الفيديو. كانت لحظة تاريخية، وأجمل ما فيها اللحظة طبعا كلمة أمير البلاد الشيخ صباح الأحمد الصباح، فهو يعني نصير للمرأة. وأيضا كانت ردة فعل الرجل جميلة من صوت وصفر روحين. هذا شنو اللي قاعد يقول؟ فيديو من هذا. لا مو هذا اللي قبله.
ثواني بس.
هذا اوكي. لاحظوا الكويتي
يا جماعة، بس على ما يعطوني الأرقام بكرة جلستنا الساعة 11 حتكون. أعطيكم فرصة. الحضور 59، موافقة 35، عدم موافقة 23، امتناع 1، موافقة وإحالة الحكومة.
ليش انت؟
صار في لاج. صار في لاج.
يا جماعة، بس على ما يعطي.
ايش قاعد تسوي؟
just second.
اعطوني الارقام بكره جلستنا الساعه 11 حتكون. اعطيكم فرصه. الحضور 59، موافقه 35، عدم موافقه 23، امتناع 1، موافقه واحاله الحكومه. رجاء رجاء في سمو الرئيس حيتكلم. يا جماعة تفضل سمو الرئيس. سمو الرئيس تفضل.
شكرا أخ الرئيس. أولا أود أن أسجل الشكر للرئاسة لتحملها لكل أعبائنا. في نفس الوقت أود أن أشكر سواء من أيد أو من عارض، لأن هذا الموضوع هو هذه الديمقراطية، ويجب أن يكون هناك فيه نوع من التقبل للرأي والرأي الآخر. وأنا شاكر لكل من ساهم في هذا الموضوع سواء بالمعارضة أو بالموافقة. في نفس الوقت أود أن أهنئ أخواتي نساء الكويت على حصولهم على حقوقهم السياسية، وأتمنى، وهذه هي الرغبة الأميرية والتي قد وافق عليها من هذا المجلس، وأتمنى لأخواتي أن يساهمن مع أخوانهم في بناء هذا البلد وفي مستقبل هذا البلد، وأتمنى للجميع التوفيق والشكر.
شكرا سمو الرئيس. فائد الخنة. لا رجاء خلونا
Okay, so that was the video.
هذه طبعا هذه هي لحظة تاريخية في الكويت للمرأة الكويتية، لما سنة 2004 استطعنا أن نحصل على حق التصويت. يعني احنا حقوقنا السياسية حصلنا عليها مؤخرا، ولكن هناك نهضة من هالناحية إلى أن يكون دعم للمرأة الكويتية وليس الكويتية للأمانة، أيضا على مستوى الخليج. ونشاهد في الإمارات نصف الحكومة اليوم نساء، الإمارات العربية كذلك. في السعودية هناك تغيير 180 درجة للمرأة ودعم المرأة السعودية. اليوم صارت سفيرة، وهذا طبعا أمور كلها جيدة. الحين راح ابتدي أنقل كلمتي باللغة الإنجليزية. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really honored to be with all of you this afternoon, and these incredibly amazing women from around the world. Let me start by saying your achievements not only inspire me alone, but also inspire so many others. You inspire us to work harder, to be better, and to leave a mark wherever we can. I cannot tell you how happy I am. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. We are here to talk about women alone. In life, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself why I'm doing this, why I'm organizing this conference. I find myself going back to the beginning of my journey as a lawyer, following my graduation from Kuwait University. I worked for Al United Bank for 13 years as a lawyer in the legal department, and I didn't notice any gender discrimination at the opportunities in terms of remuneration, of promotion, and else. Were equal between me and my fellow male lawyers working at the bank. However, when I moved to work in the legal profession, I was shocked by the principles of gender discrimination. In 2013, I moved to work in a law firm as a lawyer, and in 2017, I established my law firm. 2019, I established my own journal. It's specialized in law and economics, but it wasn't easy at all. I grew up in a middle-class family. I was born to incredibly amazing parents. The adults, my brother was born a few years later. Even after I had a brother, nothing changed for me, as both of us were given equal opportunities in everything. In 2018, I was keen to attend supporting the Female Lawyers Conference in Portugal, and among the speakers were the lawyers Christina and Christian and Mary. I benefited from their successful experiences and advice. I was keen to take part in the Q&A discussion with them, where they asked the attendants to briefly share their experience as a woman. I still recall a sentence that lawyer Mary told me, "May God be with you. It's clear that you have a long way ahead." And I think you see what's happening now for my effort. Today, I would like to say that I was able to achieve a lot during 2-year period. I was chosen to attend the Austral Committee meeting. Furthermore, my legal expertise in Kuwait's economy in relation to finance, trade and business in Kuwait was used by the World Bank in the Washington branch. Moreover, I was chosen as a speaker in many different global conferences. I was also chosen as one of the women in law leadership for the year 2020 by IFLR. Therefore, as a part of my journey, I was driven to organize this conference to transfer these successful women's experiences at the international level to our society in the Middle East. So that's why they against that, they don't want. But we should do it. Because I believe that women in our society can benefit a lot from these experiences. So how do you break the glass ceiling without breaking yourself? As a working mother of 3, and by the way, they're watching me now, and I'm sorry for them that they see like this movie. My days feel short and I feel rushed to do as much as I can. Women have become more successful than ever, and with that success comes the pressure of being the perfect wife and mother while maintaining the professional life. It can leave you feeling overwhelmed, empty and frustrated. How can I lose my dreams and grow my career and still build a family with purpose and intention? It's easy to get off track when we are alone. However, what if it is possible to manage it all and still maintain your sanity and well-being? I believe you can do it because and this conference will help you overcome the complexity of your life to build a life you love. I did it, and I know you can do it too. Take the time to create a plan, be intentional, and focus for your energy on what you want. You can achieve the successful life you have always wanted. It's time to change your life now. Are you ready to live with purpose? Be prepared to change course, but don't give up on the success. If you are afraid to fail you are creating a hurdle that can hinder your success. Remember, there is a correlation between fear of failure and lessons. Fear is sometimes an excuse to simply not work hard, which can define you as a lazy. Identifying what's holding you back and honest about it. Then get on with it. Don't work to earn, work to learn. Because patience is key when it comes to succeeding in businesses. While making money is important, mentally you should always focus on growth and development. I have failed at some place, but I learned that inner working of the industry and was able to move forward to achieve ultimate success. Don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone. If you want to continue to grow professionally, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Whether you are searching for untapped areas of opportunity or taking on a new role at work, it's essential for the true success. I had a temperature journey, but I learned that it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. What matters is you are prepared to get back up. The only thing preventing success from failure is the ability to dust yourself and keep going. When people suffer personal strategies or lose their job or businesses, they often feel defeated and want to quit on their dreams. But this is the wrong approach to take. Don't give up, don't give in. Just get back up and start rebuilding your life as quickly as possible. What are the challenges and structural barriers facing women and how can we address them? I hope that this conference will provide some insight into key strategies for promoting female lawyer leadership and supporting women in law position to break the glass ceiling. Thank you all for being here and supporting what you believe in. I'm sure this conference will lead others to success. I wish you all a beneficial time. Thank you so much, and also sorry for what happened, and thank you so much. So now, Dr. Bashir, you will start. Okay? Christian, Firas.
Yeah, I'm checking now what's going on.
يلا دكتورة بشاير وكريستيان and Christina.
I just asked Dr. Bashar is asked to unmute.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And I would like to express my thanks to everyone attending this virtual conference entitled to Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling and Supporting Women in Law. But I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Before I pass you on to this evening speakers, I would like to briefly introduce myself and introduce what tonight's session is all about. My name is Dr. Bashir Al-Ghanim, and I'm Assistant Professor of Private International Law at Kuwait University. And tonight's session is going to be structured into three main topics. First, defining the career path to developing into an authentic leader. Second, evaluating the latest strategies being deployed by top legal firms to advance female leaders. Third and final topic, best practice strategies for mitigating the impact of unconscious bias and practical steps for addressing bias with the legal industry. In terms of tonight's speakers, we have three very passionate female lawyers who are going to share with us their knowledge and experience of attracting, engaging, and inspiring women in the legal profession in the industry. The first speaker is Daniel Arzufika. Daniela is the president of the Macedonian Chambers of Commerce. She has extensive experience of resolving disputes via alternative dispute resolution. She has a particular focus of arbitration. The second speaker is President Christian Ferrell-Scholl. Christian has been in practice for almost 30 years as a lawyer in information technology, for example, internet, telecommunications and media, personal data, and intellectual property. The third speaker is Christine Black-Lawes. Christine is the immediate past President of Law Society of England and Wales. Christiana specializes in representing some of the most deprived children in the society. She was previously a managing partner of a community-based law firm which did a lot of legal aid work. Before our speakers start, I would like to quickly mention a few housekeeping rules. First, please can all attendees mute their microphones, and if there is a questions for tonight's speakers, please can you wait until the end of the session. Without further ado, now I will pass you over the tonight first speaker, Daniel Arzufika. Daniel, it's your turn to speak. Are you here, Daniela? Yes. You are welcome to speak.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, first of all, allow me to greet all of our participants that follow this international conference. And I would like to express great appreciation to Legal Challenges International for organizing it. Today I would like to discuss on what I believe are the methods to challenge gender bias in the legal profession, since I think that we will have enough time later to get to know each other and speak about ourselves. So I think that predominantly maybe this conference should be about opening up some new topics rather than to speak about oneself. So as I always say, we need to support women. We need to support women which transcend with knowledge. We need to support women which transcend with integrity and strength. And we need to support ones which inspire and lead others towards success and towards better tomorrow. So this leadership should always be based on true value and on quality, but the first step always would be to support women, period. As someone who is dedicated to international arbitration, I believe that promoting gender, but also promoting generational diversity in appointment of arbitrators and equal representation of women should always be a priority in international arbitration. As you know, there aren't as many of us out there. There should always be more, and we should support each other into going on that path. So I believe as part of the most relevant global international institutions on 4 continents, I would be very happy to see women be represented in tribunals and for them to have an opportunity to contribute in solving some of these worldwide disputes. Generally, today's topic being gender bias is something which is, I think, a topic not very well maybe considered or talked about in the legal profession. The unconscious gender bias is typically considered as someone which is usually based on tradition, on norms, on values, on culture. And this is in many cases in the legal profession affects decision-making when employment or career advancing is in question. And it's based on bias assessment according to gender stereotypes. I think that each and every one of the ladies being here, and maybe some of the gentlemen have faced it at one point or time in their careers. So I think that it should be a topic discussed today. From what I have from our research is that the first barrier that women face in the legal profession is rather a general one, and is, I think, one which is very common in most professions, and that's that management is always and still considered as a man's job. Also, very often it's assumed that the man and the women have different social roles in life. You know, women are perceived like someone who is supposed to take care of the family, someone who is supposed to stay home, not advance at the career, or maybe if she is working, have some low-level career path, as it has been probably most common in the past. But probably the biggest barrier that women face is the corporate culture. This promotes strong man leaders instead of promoting leaders. So for a leader, it shouldn't matter if it's a woman or a man. A leader should be promoted as one if he has the right quality, the right values, the right integrity. So gender is not something which should be considered for the real leadership role. So what is it that I believe are the biggest challenges? And I'm sure that many of you have probably faced them through the road throughout your careers, but maybe not always were conscious that it happened. I use the word meritocracy very often. Maybe you read what I write, or maybe you heard me when I speak. I do believe that it's a strong word, but first of all, I do believe that someone needs to have, as a woman, an equal opportunity for the position so that meritocracy can come into place. Usually men have significant advantages prior to being in a position to compete against women, and I'm sure that you have all seen this throughout your professional path. It's very important also to have performance assessment as a criteria in the workplace. This naturally places women in worse position than men. And also leading cases or projects is something that increases visibility and promotion. And this is something that as a position has always been assigned to men rather than women, when it should be assigned based on skills and on merit, but not on gender. So men and women, they don't have the equal access to participation in leadership development programs. And this is how actually leaders are being molded into what they are tomorrow. So they all need to have equal access to leadership development programs, because now at the time they're primarily offered to senior leaders, which are mostly men. Just in brief, I'll mention the tools which I think are now used to respond to gender bias in the legal profession, but I do believe that they're also very applicable to other professions as well. And I think that you may all come across them, but many of the companies and the corporations and the corporate world are not practicing them as they should. The first way I believe to achieve this is blind evaluation. This is something that not all, if not any, of the companies have. This is actually something which allows the employment selection process, the physical attributes to be hidden, and so is the gender. So the first thing that you will find at a person when she's applying for a job is her quality and not the gender. So a small percentage of companies have applied this in practice, but the researchers know that an average of 60% increase in hiring women through blind testing has been achieved. So this is something that in the corporate world, especially in the legal profession, when hiring, should be tried out as a method. The second way, which I would like to mention, is making structured interviews, something which also in the corporate world is not so often. This would ensure that all candidates are evaluated according to relevant predetermined criteria, and this would be related to their work performance, and it would remove gender bias from the hiring decisions. And the last, and I would think the most important one, is the third tool to eliminate gender bias in the workplace is to have a completely transparent career advancement process. The legal profession, I'm not sure if maybe you're aware of this, but it's actually considered one of those which are being easy to do so. It's being considered that it's easy to have a completely transparent career advancement process because it's a profession where often results are achieved by individual rather than a team effort. It's maybe easier to count the number of cases won. It's maybe easier to see the success achieved. So the results can be well assessed, and it should be fair to lead to progress when you have all of these results in front of you. Even if the best candidate is a woman or are women, you cannot look past success. So I believe for this to be achieved, the company rules should always be in place, and they should or would apply if a female candidate has the best results to advance in the workplace. I think that these are maybe the three most relevant things which are, as a method, somehow what you can do to overcome the unconscious gender bias. But I'm really open on listening to what the other panel speakers have on their minds today. So I would be very happy to receive your comments, and I would be very happy to listen what you have as an insight or for something which you have had as an experience throughout your career advancement. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. It was a very nice talk. And now I would invite the second speaker, President Christina Ferral-Scholl, to share with us her experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you all hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening. In Paris, it's evening time. This is a real honor. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to speak today about women in law and to measure with pride the road that we have traveled in the legal field and analysis with you the further steps to go through in order to reach effective equality. You know, France is grieving a great woman lawyer. Her name is Gisèle Halimi. She dedicated her career to effective equality between women and men. And she considered that unfair law is contrary to the value of justice and must be challenged. So I would like to honor her memory as a woman lawyer who leads the way for a generation of colleagues. The first point I would like to mention concerns defining your career path to developing into an authentic leader. Leading is not at all a gender question. I have never positioned myself as a woman, exclusively as a lawyer who is passionate about her work. and it's really a great job to be a lawyer. In my case, and I don't want to generalize that, what allowed me to stand out from other lawyers, because I didn't know any lawyer, and I'm not from a family where there is lawyer, and really I didn't know even what it looked like. But what allowed me to stand out from other lawyers was specializing in fields that were not at all current, not even taught. When I started, computer law and data privacy were totally unknown. As I only master a subject well when I write about it, this is the only way I've found to really understand the topic. I ended up publishing a lot. I gathered my publications in a book, which was first published in 1998 and which has since been regularly updated. And this is how I finished up writing about 2,000 pages on this topic. But it took me 20 years. So it's not so much per year, but going through and through the topic and going further every time. I was thus quickly identified as a specialist in the world of digital players. The development in technology did the rest, with the development of e-commerce, telecommunications, internet. So I had no difficulty in building a base of clientele who were really interested in someone who mastered digital concepts and had a pragmatic approach. So I never stopped learning with them through issues that were as varied as they were complex. And I had the opportunity to intervene in very innovative trials that required a lot of imagination and thinking outside the box. I also diversified my activities by becoming a mediator and even a cyber arbitrator. So beyond specializing, which helped accelerate my career, it is necessary to stick to the classic rules. Working and working on your files, listening and listening to your clients. And be sure to speak the same language as your client's language. So lastly, curiosity and audacity are, in my opinion, qualities which I believe to be crucial. Curiosity, as it allows you to increase your scope of intervention. There are always 1,000 ways to implicate yourself beyond your work. In associations, institutions, projects, the review you are overseeing, getting off the beaten track, finding ways to become known and meet other people. There are so many ways to have new ideas, new horizons, to meet new people, to generate interest, and thus new projects. So finally, my determination and willingness to change things according to my views and values pushed me to run for professional terms. As the second chairwoman of the Paris Bar, the third one, Marie-Aimée Perron, is tonight present beyond us. So as the second chairwoman of the Paris Bar, and then as the first ever woman elected president of the French National Bar Council. So there are many ways to be successful in your professional life. I think really that the essential lies in networking and project opportunities, to be curious, to go ahead and really try. Never resign and always go ahead. So the second item is concerns the evaluating the latest strategies being deployed by top legal firms to advance female leaders. On this second topic, as more than 50% of registered lawyers in France, you must say that 56% of registered lawyers in France are women. Equality issues in law firms become more important. Of course, more women becomes more important. And I welcome every effort taken to fill the gap and overturn under-representation of women in leading positions. At the institutional level, equality is now effective. The legal profession is at the forefront on this issue. We have put in place a parity mechanism for the election of members of the French National Bar Council, as well as binomials to be elected to the councils of the local bar association. These new rules guarantee an effective equality in representation. And nevertheless, in France, the annual income of women lawyers is still on average twice as low as that of men. Therefore, the battle is far from being won. One of the main challenges in the empowerment of young women as team leaders, of course, women and men are equally competent in every field, but young women must fight strong bias in the fields of management and team leading. At the macro level, it is fundamental to ensure effective equality and a balance between personal and professional life. At the individual level, practical tools for young women professionals, such as speaking in public and daring to assert herself, require self-determination and soft skills that can be developed through continuous training aiming to overturn internalized bias and restraint. So the third and last topic concerns the best practice strategies for mitigating the impact of unconscious bias and practical steps for addressing bias within the legal industry, and the tools that support challenging bias with professionalism and authority. The fight against bias is one of the cornerstones of my mandate as president of the French National Bar Council. Bias are everywhere dangerous. They can even threaten the fairness of the judiciary if technological tools incorporate them and apply them automatically. The accelerated ongoing IT revolution raised legal and ethical skills directly linked to unconscious bias that lawyers need to grasp. The use of artificial intelligence in judicial matters may infringe several fundamental rights if it is not strictly framed and strictly controlled. The rights of defense. One of the technical difficulties of artificial intelligence remains the lack of explicability and transparency. This has a huge impact on the legal profession, as a lack of transparency would necessarily undermine the principle of contradiction, since lawyers would not be in a position to usefully discuss the elements selected by the judge. Same for the right to a fair trial. Biases could be of several types and could be found in the data used as well as in the decision logic of the algorithm. If any of these biases are present, all results of the artificial intelligence solution will violate the fairness of court decision without the possibility of immediate correction. The principle of equality of arms before the jurisdiction. Lawyers need to have a guaranteed access to this technology as well as a judge to challenge potential bias. These issues are of major importance, and they need to be taken into account by lawyers and their bars in order to follow this trend without jeopardizing fundamental principles of the judiciary. So you will tell me, what are the solutions? I think that the legal profession must promote, apply, and make apply the SCIFE's European Ethical Charter or equivalent ethical rules on the use of artificial intelligence in judicial system and their environment. Lawyers must contribute to ensure risk management by the European Commission when promoting and developing artificial intelligence solutions for justice, and the need to set up a public body responsible for artificial intelligence and open data regulation and control, including the high courts, in order to guarantee the impartiality and independence of the judiciary and the preservation of the rights of litigants to a fair trial. In other words, at the moment where we are going and using artificial intelligence, the question of equality is inside the artificial intelligence. This is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for having the opportunity to discuss this with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it's a very interesting talk. And I liked the idea about the intelligence, artificial intelligence in litigation. It's very nice to share with us this experience. Now I will pass you over to our final speaker, Christiana Blacklaws, to talk about her experience. Christiana, are you ready?
I am. Thank you very much, Bashaya, and great to follow on from Christian and Danala. What I'm going to try to do is share my screen, because I've got a slideshow, so I'm going to see if that works.
I just gave you access to share.
Yeah, I'm on. Okay. I just need to, thank you, slideshow. Okay, so the last comments from Christiana, really fascinating, because in my career, as my post-presidential career, I was president of the Law Society of England and Wales. That's the body that represents lawyers in the United Kingdom. And subsequently, I chaired 2 United Kingdom government panels in the technology and ethics space. So we could probably talk about that all night. But what I'm here to present to you about relates to my passion in relation to getting women into leadership positions. It's been something that I have been absolutely committed to throughout my life, and as an office holder and then president of the UK Law Society, I had an opportunity to undertake some research which I wanted to share with you today. And throughout my time, I've tried very hard to make the case that gender equality is good for everyone. It's not just an issue for 50% of us. It's not an issue for women. It is an issue for 100% of us. It works as well for men as it does for women, and it supports people with other protected characteristics too. It's great for our mental health. It all enables us to thrive in a diverse and a supportive environment. And if that hasn't been convinced everybody, then I can make out a very hard-nosed business case as to why gender equality it equates with profitability. So it's surprising that we still have to talk about it, but we do, because we are by no means anywhere near there yet. So I focused on the issue of women in leadership positions in law, because that in the UK is where we have our problem. More than 50% of practicing lawyers are women, yet only 31% are partners in law firms. And if you look at our largest global law firms, an even smaller percentage will be lucky to find 10, 11, 12% of women in ownership positions. So we really wanted to address, and we undertook some research. In fact, the research ended up being the largest ever global research that's been undertaken in this area. And we asked a fairly simple question in our research: what are the barriers? What are the things that are stopping women from achieving their ambitions? And this is what the research said, and it chimes in with what has already been said by previous speakers. The biggest reason that most people recognise was unconscious and indeed conscious bias. 52% of people who responded said that was why women were not able to achieve their ambitions. Secondly, close second, an unacceptable work-life balance that's demanded to reach senior levels. And thirdly, the sort of male-shaped nature of law, the fact that traditional networks and routes to promotion are often very male-orientated. And 60% of people recognised that there was a gender or equal pay gap issue in their organisation, but in very few organisations was there anything actively being done about this. So we use these insights to inform the qualitative part of our research, which we undertook via round tables. And so we undertook 250 round tables in 18 countries involving around 10,000 lawyers. And if you can see, as in the top right-hand corner there, you can see Arish attended one of our round tables in New Delhi. And we utilised for these round tables toolkits. We made one for the men's round tables, one for the women's round tables. And the purpose was to focus on the primary issues and the solutions, but also to encourage everyone to become champions for gender equality in their organisations and communities. And you know, that's one thing I think we should all be very aware of. We all have a huge opportunity to be change makers here. The evidence that we put together, we compiled into 3 research reports. One for the UK roundtables, one for the men's roundtables, and one for the international roundtables. And I'm just going to whiz through a few of the findings, in addition to those which we found in the survey. So some of the issues were around women not, and this has been touched on by previous speakers, not fitting the traditional image of what a business leader should look like, those characteristics tending to favour men as opposed to women. The importance of women seeing other women like them in leadership roles, particularly with more junior women. It was important for them to see and to feel that they had senior leadership potential. Assumptions negative assumptions having such a corrosive impact on our ambitions. So being presumed to be the tea girl, the note taker, an assistant to a more junior male colleague can be incredibly demoralizing and undermining of women's confidence. So those assumptions of inferiority can have a devastating impact on our careers. And perhaps most significantly, that intersectionality lands an extremely heavy blow on women who have another protected characteristic. And frankly, unless women from diverse backgrounds are promoted to the top tier, then it really does signal that they are not wanted there. With the men's roundtables, the men recognised that women were significantly underrepresented in senior positions, and one of the key insights there was the need to go further down the female talent pipeline to make sure that junior women had the same opportunities and experiences as junior male lawyers, and to really focus on promotion and succession for women. And with the international roundtables, again, very fortunate with thousands of lawyers across the world in, as I said, 18 different countries. I was surprised because I thought that there would be huge differences across the world, but in fact, the reality is that the experiences of female lawyers in every country was very similar. Partially because those experiences related to traditional gender roles and stereotypes. So the assumptions about what women can and should do, and the lack of transparency was another key issue. So when there is no transparency about what people are paid and why they're paid that, then women tend to come off financially worse. And the penalisation was felt to be particularly strong by working mothers who felt that their careers were really being hampered because of their commitments outside of work. Now, I'm going to talk because you might be feeling a little bit depressed at this point in my talk. So I'm going to move on to some of these solutions. So our survey highlighted the need for access to and mainstreaming of flexible working, not just for women, but for men as well. And no doubt we'll talk at some point about COVID-19 and the pandemic and the changes that have been brought about because of that. But certainly that has mainstreamed flexible working in the UK. Mentoring and sponsorship, again, very key. Networking, promoting and celebrating role models, male as well as female, and crucially, engaging men in the equality debate. Male leaders need to step up to the platform and see it as their responsibility to ensure gender equality. And again, thematically from the reports, leadership is absolutely key. Leaders of legal businesses and law firms need to walk the talk. They need to take accountability. And they need to put diversity and inclusion at the very heart of their business planning. Of course, greater transparency is also important, and training. Every single one of us holds our own set of biases. And we are quite frankly dangerous if we are making decisions about other people without that awareness and without the measures in place, the policies and procedures to make sure that we are making decisions that are absolutely fair. We put all of this information into a blueprint we called for gender balance, and finally, together with all the other representative bodies in the United Kingdom and supported by the UK government, we compiled a Women in Law pledge, and signatories to the pledge sign up to addressing gender inequality. So, for example, tackling discrimination, bullying and harassment in the workplaces, challenging any gender pay issues, and appointing senior people to be accountable. So all of these things, I hope, will have brought about some greater awareness and some change. And the Women in Law Pledge, although it is a UK initiative, is open to all signatories. And if anybody wants any of this information, then please do take down my email address and write to me, and I will send you all of the pack that I have alluded to in the presentation. So I'll stop screen sharing there and say thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Christina. And also I would like to say something. Somebody who tried to, hackers also, they try to remove people from, remove them out. I feel for them. They talk with me now, and they try to not let people to come to attend. We have more than they registered, but you know, this is what happened in our society. But we should not have from them. Okay. Okay, Iman, you will start. Shukran, Dr. Bashir, and thank you, Christian. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for lovely speech. And now Iman and Dr. Elik also, and Mary. تفتحهم نزار؟ فراس.
Yes, I'm doing it. Iman, I removed Iman, she's unmuted.
Mary.
Okay, 1 second. Mary is unmuted. والثالثة منه؟ دكتور. بس عيد الاسم انه في وايد.
Okay, you can start. يلا. Iman, تفضلي.
Hello everyone, it's my pleasure to join amazing women in the law profession, and it's so inspiring to see women from around the world thriving and breaking new grounds in all areas of legal profession. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Iman Abdelghani, and I'm the founder of Startups Digital Platform to empower the SMEs, and the founder of Jasmine Incubator to empower women and to promote digital skills. And I am a PhD researcher at the University of Portsmouth, looking at the power of influence and gender equality from the Middle Eastern perspective. I chair the Research and Innovation Committee, FIRC, of the Cultural and of the Creative and Cultural Industries at the faculty at the University of Portsmouth. And it's so interesting to witness similarity in the struggle and challenges between Western and Eastern women in terms of women struggle and challenges in different sectors. We are now in the second session, and I would like to welcome lawyer Marie-Emière Piron, the Vice President of the National Bar Council and a member of the Council of Discipline de Paris, and Dr. Elka, a marked partner in one of the major commercial law firms in Germany. My question first goes to Dr. Elka. Despite the fact that women across the globe are taking charge and movement for gender equality and equal pay, but women continue to be underrepresented in many areas, specifically in law profession, in private practice. And when it comes to attaining leadership roles, can you share with us your perspective about gender inequality in this sector?
First of all, good evening to everybody. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you and to share my views on these topics. Referring to your question, it's actually not the questions I was provided with in advance.
Your success story, you've been facing for sure gender inequality.
Of course. Much has been said this evening, and I couldn't agree more on the key issues which have been mentioned. I think Arish mentioned it, and also other co-speakers, Daniela. It's a lot depends on women themselves. I think we have to be brave to actively break the glass ceiling, and it all depends on our own, not everything, but also on our own passion and ambition, energy, to go on and never give up. So that is, I think, crucial. When it comes, another thought I had is sometimes during that's my own experience, it also helps to see a little bit the position in which men are in, and to realize that they are in similar positions, and how do they face the challenges we face. And sometimes it's really helpful to see that even male lawyers have kids and that they deal with that, and that we are not the only ones, and that they sometimes are under similar pressure. So what I also would like to share is, during all this, the biggest enemy sometimes is our own pressure we have for ourselves. And during my work life, I noticed a lot of women who gave up before having actually tried becoming a partner. Going on, they then decided to change their career, and I think what is really important is to deal with this own pressure and our old role models we have in our heads, because in our own education, and to overcome those role models and invent new ones.
So why are women are leaving the legal profession early? I mean, why don't they sustain or attain till getting the leadership role in the legal firms?
That's a very interesting question, which I discussed with myself a lot of times. Why is that the case? And we discuss it in the law firm as well nowadays. And I think one is the lack of role models, like you here this evening, where female lawyers can say, okay, if she does it, I could do it as well. And maybe not in the way she does it, but I can do it. I have my own ideas how I can achieve that. And a little bit lack of courage. I personally don't think that it's all the fault of men, society, and men decisions. Sometimes it's also the women, at least from my surrounding, from my society, the women who from at a very early stage decide to not go forward.
Thank you. So I'll go to lawyer Mary. Far as I know, you are a women activist and you've been leading so many campaigns even in the streets of Paris. We've been hearing about how hard is it, the culture in the law firms, the long working hours, which is not really gender specific, but how can we encourage new female lawyers to join this sector? How can we convince them that, or help them to create work-life balance?
Hello everybody. It's a great pleasure to be with you in this difficult period, crisis in the world. First, thank you, Ariel. That's a great pleasure to be with Christiane, Christina, and all our friends in the world. Thank you, Arash, also. I can speak French, and thank you for this translator. First, il est clair que pour nous, réussir pour une femme dans le légal, hein, dans la loi, nous sommes une profession qui connaît ses difficultés, quelles qu'elles soient, que ce soit au barreau, que ce soit dans les cabinets d'avocats, et ce, pour des raisons culturelles, sociologiques, voire religieuses, mais très clairement, les choses sont possibles, et il faut le dire. J'ai l'honneur d'être 220e bâtonnier, 3e femme bâtonnier après Dominique de la Garandrie et Christiane Ferralschul. Christiane nous parlait tout à l'heure. C'est 30 000 avocats, le barreau de Paris. Et clairement, notre ambition, c'est que le fait qu'une femme soit élue à la tête du barreau de Paris ne soit plus un événement. Christiane, elle ne vous l'a pas dit, mais elle est la première femme à la tête du barreau français. Et c'est encore un événement, bien évidemment. Alors, effectivement, on nous dit toutes les difficultés pour concilier la vie privée et la vie professionnelle. Oui, mais nous, femmes, avons l'habitude de mener plusieurs vies à la fois. Nous sommes habituées à gérer nos différentes vies, qu'elles soient familiales, professionnelles et extra-professionnelles. Et l'expérience démontre que plus on fait de choses, mieux nous nous organisons pour en faire. Et ce, en allant toujours à l'essentiel. Alors, moi, j'ai souvent pour habitude de dire, je gère mes différentes vies avec le barreau, avec le cabinet, avec, bien évidemment, la famille et la maison. Mais, je dirais, ça doit entrer dans les mœurs de plus en plus. Et ce, a fortiori, maintenant qu'il y a les nouvelles technologies qui permettent de travailler à la maison, de la maison. C'est-à-dire de rentrer et de se reconnecter, s'il le faut, de la maison. Et d'ailleurs, il nous appartient de veiller à ce qu'il n'y ait plus de discrimination en ce sens. Christiane l'a rappelé, pour le barreau, les femmes perçoivent en moyenne 50% de moins que les hommes. C'est inadmissible. Donc, comment nous nous battons, comment nous nous organisons pour que, effectivement, cette discrimination soit réduite. Et en cela, nous avons intégré l'égalité dans notre règlement intérieur, d'abord à Paris, puis avec Christiane au niveau national. C'est-à-dire qu'il ne doit pas y avoir de discrimination pour devenir partenaire, devenir associé des structures, mais aussi dans la rémunération qui est perçue.
Thank you. If we want to speak about gender bias in law firms, at what cost? There are many concerns, both short terms and long terms, that firms need to be ready to face it. Either conscious or implicit bias exists in the law firms. So in your opinion, what is the cost on firm if they didn't ensure diversity and equality in their organizations?
Alors, de plus en plus, dans la loi française, il y a des condamnations maintenant pour faire respecter l'égalité. Maintenant, il faut aussi dire que les femmes, et c'est démontré, apportent économiquement leur point de vue et permettent de contribuer à l'économie et au développement économique. Et dans les cabinets d'avocats, là aussi, c'est démontré, de façon à ce que très clairement, on montre toute la plus-value qu'apporte une femme. Et dans l'organisation, il convient de veiller à l'organisation de la société, que ce soit plus toujours des réunions qui soient organisées à 19h. C'est comme Christiane Ferrand-Schul parlait du numérique tout à l'heure. Il faut veiller aussi à ce que l'encodage et que les codes ne soient pas faits que par les hommes, là aussi, mais que ce soit aussi les femmes qui contribuent, parce que sinon nous allons, même dans le numérique, avoir une organisation qui ne sera faite que par les hommes. Mais clairement, les femmes apportent une plus-value à l'entreprise, et si en France, cette égalité n'est pas respectée, la parité n'est pas respectée, maintenant, pour les grandes entreprises, elle est sanctionnée. De même, pour les élections au barreau et au Conseil national des barreaux, vous avez maintenant obligatoirement une liste hommes ou une liste femmes. Et vous devez, comme pour les élections politiques, également voter et pour des hommes et pour des femmes, de façon à assurer la parité.
Thank you, Marie. Going back to Dr. Mbeh, we want to describe the role of men in our lives. So, can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how can we describe the role of men in the legal profession? How can they help us in helping women to reach a leadership role?
Yeah, as I earlier described, I think it depends most on us, and I wouldn't count that much on men, also in this respect. But apart from that, maybe there's still hope, and of course, at the end, they will contribute, and that's good that they can contribute. I think what Marie just said is that there are a lot of really well-qualified women lawyers, female lawyers, and also men realize that, enterprises realize that, and even lawyers of a law firm, partners in a law firm realize that. And at least from the German market, I can say that we really have a huge need for high potentials, and that in that respect, my male partners realize, if we cannot foster female lawyers and attract them to become associate with us, to become partner, and if we don't offer a good career model, then we will lose a huge share of the potential on the job market. So we definitely have to improve and to become more attractive for female lawyers. And that is what my male partners realize. And nowadays, it's really astonishing how they try to become better in that respect. And I'm myself, I'm a very optimistic person. I always like to look on the positive aspects in life. So in that respect, I can tell you that during the last 20, 30 years, it changed a lot. We achieved a lot. And even male lawyers, partners, nowadays have a lot. They have an eye on it, and they would defend female interests and a lot of respect.
Thank you so much. end this session, I would like to ask one last question. As a role model, women in law, what do you think your role would be to the new female who are joining this sector? How would you empower them? How would you encourage them to sustain in this profession? Can you describe for us how would you share maybe your knowledge, your expertise? I mean, thanks for this virtual meeting now, bringing the West and the East together. So how important is that, the collaboration, engagement with each other?
Is this a question for me again? Yeah? Okay, so first of all, I think networking is really very, very helpful. Yeah, we're sharing views and supporting each other. I think that's very valuable, and personally for me it was always very important. I, for instance, founded an association here in Hamburg which is called Working Moms, and it's not only from the legal profession but also from other professions, just ambitious women who have kids and work at the same time and who make their lives. And for me it was so important to see that I'm not the only stupid one who goes to the office every day, but that there are so many others who try to reach certain goals, and to feel the support, not from competitors, but just from other female women, ambitious women, and to see them and have them as role model and see, okay, if she can do it, I can do it as well. So never give up, be courageous, and do it. Just do it, try. If one way isn't possible, try another way, but never give up.
Thank you, Dr. Elka. Go back to Marie. Marie, I'm going to ask you the same question. To what extent do you think your role as a professional woman would empower other women in the same field? What would you say to them? What would your gift be to them to help them sustain in their professional career?
It's mute.
Is it mute now? Can you hear me? Okay, Mary, I'm going to ask this question again. As a
Thank you. I listen. Moi, si j'ai un conseil à donner à des jeunes qui rentrent dans la profession, c'est de toutes les façons le talent, la compétence et le travail n'ont pas de genre. Et donc, c'est de le dire à nos consoeurs, à nos jeunes consoeurs, ayez confiance en vous. Trop souvent, les femmes n'ont pas suffisamment confiance en elles, et notamment un directeur des ressources humaines disait, d'une grande entreprise, lorsque je propose un poste à un homme, il me dit « Ah, ben c'est pas trop tôt ». Et je propose le même poste à une femme et elle me dit « Vous croyez que je vais être à la hauteur ?» Et donc c'est vraiment oser, pour moi c'est de dire oser et ayez confiance en vous. C'est indispensable, et surtout, mesdames, soyons solidaires entre nous, et messieurs, nous avons aussi besoin de votre soutien, parce que moi je le dis, tout ce que j'ai pu faire aussi, c'est parce que j'ai eu des hommes à mes côtés qui m'ont aidé et qui m'ont poussé aussi. Et je pense que nous avons besoin de vous, messieurs, parce que l'égalité, ça se fait non seulement par la solidarité entre femmes, mais aussi avec les femmes.
Dr. Elka, Marie, thank you for being with us. It's so nice to be with you. Thank you so much for being with us in this session.
Thanks to you.
اوكي. دانا تبتدين تسوي فراس إذا سمحت. Okay.
Hello everyone. I'm lawyer Dana from Kuwait. I'm also master student in UK University. First of all, I would like to thank Arij for organizing this conference, and I'm really honored to be between international women today. And I will introduce my guests, Olivia and Rashika.
Thank you, Dana.
Hi. First of all, Olivia, can you tell us about your experience as a female lawyer from Hong Kong?
Okay, I'll give you a general introduction of myself. Basically, I'm Olivia Kong from Hong Kong, the famous little city at the moment. I'm actually qualified in the UK, and I lived in the UK for 20 years before I came back to my home in Hong Kong, only 10 years ago, in fact. So I'm a dual qualified lawyer, and I now own my law firm in Hong Kong, and I do litigation. What do you actually want to know about me?
I want to know more about your experience in practice. How it was your experience? What challenge did you have, and how you're able to resist any hierarchy in the legal field?
Okay. As I've just mentioned, I came back to Hong Kong 10 years ago. So it was quite challenging for me because I wasn't admitted in Hong Kong when I first came back. And they would not recognize the UK lawyer qualifications. So I had to do something called Overseas Lawyers Qualification Exam in order to qualify in Hong Kong again. So I had to study again and do the exam. And at that time, my child was only 2.5 years old, and I came back to Hong Kong as a single mother, and so it really wasn't the easiest time in my life. But I managed to slowly climb back up into my career from zero. Did not have a single client at that time when I came back. So started from nothing, basically. I went in to do paralegaling in a law firm to do IPO, because although I'm a litigator, because I couldn't practice in Hong Kong at that time. So basically juggle the work as well as the exam and a little kid all at the same time. What I learned from that is basically determination. When you are very determined to succeed, because I know if I do not qualify in Hong Kong, my career is basically over. So I had no choice at that time. And so I woke up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning to study until 7 and go to work. And at night, I came back from work after class, evening class, and put my son to bed, and do the same again for a few months. So when you are very determined, you will succeed. And also, after I managed to get qualified, I then moved into private practice and go back to litigation, where I am trained to do. And I started from zero again as an NQ. I managed to climb up quite quickly. And I managed to build my client base in a few years. I went out networking 3 times a week, and also developed my skills as a lawyer further. And I was quite lucky. 3.5 years ago, I managed to open a law firm together with few partners. And so far, the law firm is doing quite well and we are expanding a lot. So the story is, even if you hit rock bottom, you can still climb up. So be positive and very determined to succeed.
Okay, thank you. I'm going now. My question is to Rashika. Can you tell us more about your experience as a female lawyer from India?
Thank you, Dana, for the question, and thank you, Reach, for calling me to this platform. And I'm really honored to be among such, well-established female lawyers from all over the world. Challenges, or rather, I would say that privileges of working in India were both being a woman lawyer, whether I was able to establish myself as a young lawyer at a very early age when I was appointed as the joint chairperson of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association Young Lawyer Group, or being a practicing lawyer to given me that opportunity to establish my own practice. I think I would call myself lucky, or I would call myself privileged when I say that I had mentors who were there to guide me. I'm the first generation lawyer, but yes, I had women lawyers who actually supported me, encouraged me, and when I used to get a little shaky, they used to push me to do better in my career or move forward. So I devised during my course of my profession, I devised three-pronged approach to my career development. One was that my apologies. Then do you want to say something? Are you? I thought that you. Okay. Yes. One, as I was saying that I devised three-pronged approach to my career development. One, life is not always about success or failure. It is about opportunities. As and when you get an opportunity, you need to grab onto that opportunity and you need to give in your 100% to it. I try and give my 110%, which is not practically possible, but I try doing it. The second one is knowledge is the most powerful tool that you can have. You don't have to do everything in life for the purpose of money. It has to be to learn. A lot of time we need to do a lot, work which is to learn, not to earn, as Arij mentioned at the very beginning of the conference. And the third prong was helping other women. Because I was privileged to get that kind of help from other women, I think I would want to, extend that help, or I feel it as a social responsibility that was bestowed upon me from, by other women to help other women grow with me. So I think I am able to answer what you were seeking from me.
Yes. Thank you so much. My question is to Olivia. Can you tell us about your experience as a candidate in Law Society Council? What lesson and what value you learned, and how it was difficult to take the decision to participate in the elections?
This is a very interesting question. Well, I did run for the election for the Law Society Council this year, but I didn't manage to get in. We lost, in fact, our team lost by a very minor margin. This one is not really to do with gender equality or anything, but more to do with politics in Hong Kong at the moment. What we have learned is the legal profession in Hong Kong at the moment, contrary to what the media says, is very divided. And it's a bit like Brexit going on in Hong Kong at the moment. So half of the population believe in the right-hand side, and the other half of the population thinks the other way. So we try to, our group basically try to promote professionalism rather than politics in the Law Society. But unfortunately, the voters who are the lawyers in Hong Kong, they have voted in the people who belongs to political parties, and they basically are the ones who stand on one side of the population. So that's a sad thing, frankly, for some of the members, because a lot of members actually want the Law Society to remain apolitical. So that question is not really to do with gender, but to do with politics. But in any event, I think we as a group and also as lawyers, we will not stop, keep going. We will keep pushing to what we want to achieve at the end. And like as what I said before, even though my life was basically hit rock bottom when I came back to Hong Kong, I managed to climb back up. So the same thing as well. We lost this election, it doesn't mean that we will not succeed in the future.
No, I think it's also a good step for you as a female lawyer. Yeah.
Yes, actually, it's not something a lot of people will go for, especially at the moment. Before the Law Society election, to be honest with you, is a very low-key election. But this year, somehow, it has managed to attract lots of media attention, and it has turned into more than an internal election. So in any event, it was a very exciting experience for me.
Okay, thank you. My question is now for Rashika. Did you feel that there is a huge discrimination against you because of gender, and how did you able to resist it?
Well, certainly. There is a discrimination that, all of us feel that at some point of our time or at some level of our profession, that there is huge gender discrimination, especially when you're part of a male-dominated legal profession. But one thing I've learned is to never give up. Even if you are, if you face any sort of an issue or, a hurdle in your path, facing one, trying to find a solution to one of the problems in front of you, and there is a discrimination based on your gender, then of course you need to try harder than before. When it comes to gender discrimination, I think I would again say that, I was, though there is gender discrimination and there's apparent gender discrimination in this legal fraternity, but I think I was fortunate enough to have mentors who used to show me another path. Like, in case path A doesn't work for you, try going to the path B. Keep trying till the time you do not find success. You don't have to give up. I think that because of that reason, both my mentors were just not, women. They were, my current boss is a male boss, and I think I have had such huge support from him when he used to encourage me, when he used to, push me to face any sort of adversities, or to, when I used to get a little shaky in my matters, when I was away. I still am a young counsel, but when I was like, when I just entered into the profession and I used to feel a little, a little scared by appearing for the first time before the court, or maybe in a cross-examination, then I think I got that kind of support from him to go and fight it out. So gender discrimination, even if we call it apparent on the face of it, but we have to take a step somewhere or the other so as to balance out this discrimination. And I think we as women together have to come and move forward, support each other, and then only we can find a balance in this discrimination, and we can we can reach equality. And it is our battle. We have to find ways and means to achieve it. If we do not, then I think nobody else can do it for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My question goes to both of you. How do you think we can empower the next generation of female lawyers? Olivia?
Hi. Right. Okay. I'll answer first. I think we need to look at the problem, why it ended up this way. Because in Hong Kong, it's actually quite similar to the UK. We have got quite a lot of female lawyers as junior lawyers. In fact, more than men. But somehow, when they get to partners level, suddenly they dropped a lot. So men, basically, a lot more men are partners in law firms rather than female lawyers. And why this happened? We have actually done quite a lot of research and sessions about this before in different channels like the IPBA and Law Asia, etc. What we find out is that it's actually not only that there is bias in terms of female lawyers, but also there are some female lawyers who actually put their family life before their career. And some of them basically choose to want to stay home and just look after the family rather than continue to progress in their career. And that is something, unfortunately, we can't change because that's their choice. Now, I think also some of the lawyers, we have actually tried to promote them, but they think private practice is too stressful. They think the billing targets and the long hours is putting them off. And some of them said this is affecting them getting a boyfriend. So some of them want to move in-house because they believe it's a lot less stressful environment for them. Now, what we can do, for example, my firm, as a single mother, I basically want to try to encourage other female lawyers who are mothers to get back to work rather than just quit their career completely. So we do have flexible working hours, and we do allow them to work part-time as well, or work from home, some of them. So this will actually encourage some female lawyers who didn't think of coming back out into the workforce to join the law firm again. So I think other law firms, if possible, they can do this way to encourage more female mothers, lawyers who come back into the law firm to work. Another thing is also, I think it's also to do with the culture. I think in Hong Kong, a lot of people think it's still the woman's job to look after the kids and the man's job to go out to earn the money, etc. So we need to change the education and the culture as well, so that people will understand life is not only about family. I mean, families is important, definitely, but they also need to develop their career, and there is no need to quit their job for that, especially in Hong Kong, because we have actually got helpers who stay in and live in our household who can look after the kids for us. And Hong Kong is quite a small city anyways, so there's also grandparents who can help out, etc., to look after kids. I did stop working for 2.5 years when I was in the UK because I couldn't find a babysitter who can actually look after my child, so that I can go back to work long hours enough to justify the traveling to London, because I used to live outside London at that time. So I think in Hong Kong, it should be more easier to at least to achieve this, because the city is a lot smaller and commuting is much more convenient. So this is something I think we can improve. And also I think education is another thing. And this thing I think may not have actually tapped into. I'm not sure whether everyone noticed, for example, movies like Disneyland movies. There's always this princess, and then there is this prince rescuing her from some sort of evil, some sort of castle and things like that. So I think we need to have more movies or storybooks that's the female heroes, rather than waiting for the knight in shining to come and rescue. So that girls start from young will have a different mindset, that they will put the career first before their family, and will be less less keen to give up halfway just because of the family. So I think these are things we can do to help to encourage more female lawyers to get to partnership. Thanks.
Thank you, Olivia. What can you tell us, Rashika, about your opinion?
So my journey towards empowerment started very early when I was only in school. It was in the year 2006 when I was in school and I was about to graduate or maybe move out and move to my college in the year 2006, when I saw that there's a lot of discrimination that happens. I started providing education to underprivileged section of the society. And then is when I realized that, if I need others to grow or be empowered, I have to step there, help them, or maybe show them that path which I have seen or maybe the difficulties that I have faced, and then only they will be able to learn from my experiences. So that is one of the lessons that I learned. I moved on to do my master's from Columbia Law School. There I actually met really empowered women who were not even taking care, who were not just taking care of their family and their children while they were studying with me in Columbia Law School. And I was just a fresh graduate out of my law school here. So I did my master's with such empowered women. I came back to India in the year 2015 and I set up a legal cell to spread consciousness and awareness amongst people and their legal rights. Relating to their legal rights, the initiative started holding camps and mentoring girls to take on the path where they can be empowered and they can be the women who take up the leadership position of tomorrow. And in that process, I realized I became mentor to a lot of young girls who were also law students. So since I'm only 4.5 or 5 years into the profession, I will be completing 5 years this September. So I'm only 5 years into the profession and I realized that I can tell them about my failures, I can tell them about my struggles, and I can actually show them that what is the path that can be taken after failures and struggles. So I started mentoring them, I started talking to them, and I started helping them in a way that they should be empowered to take on the challenges themselves and move forward. I think this is one of the biggest lessons, or I can biggest lessons, or maybe an achievement that I would say that I had in my personal growth, where I realized that it is not just about empowering yourself but empowering others, and that is how you become empowered yourself. So in the legal profession, of course, there are about 30-35 females only in the, who are into litigation or private practice in India, and they're practicing in the courts in India. And often a lot of them leave because of the family responsibilities. But it is when they have support of not just their family, but of their friends and the profession, the legal fraternity, it is that they're able to achieve and sustain themselves in the legal profession. Determination and perseverance is certainly a personal aspect that everyone needs to have, but it is only with the support of the others that one can move forward. So in order for if somebody asks, if I have to answer this question about how can I foster the female lawyers, I would say being there for them, being able to help them, when they have the doors closed. Being able to show them or guide them of whatever knowledge or experience that I have, and try and be the a part of the sisterhood family, I would say, and so that we can all move forward together.
Thank you, Rashika. Thank you, everyone. And we can go now for a read. Thank you so much, everyone. Read.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. Thank you, Christian, all of you, and thank you وأشكر أيضا جميع الحضور. بتكلم what you said يعني بديتي أثر علي كثيرا، لأن كأنك كنت تتكلمين عني. أنا فعلا مع الأسف ساعات أحيانا الإنسان يوصلون إلى الحضيض 5 سنوات حاربت، يعني 5 years I was fighting but يعني وقفت على رجلي بقوة والحمد لله بتوفيق من الله وبدعم من عائلتي يعني أصبحت أقوى من السابق، وأنا سعيدة يعني لهذا الشيء، وسعيدة لأنك الحمد لله وقفتي، وبالعكس أنا وايد معجبة فيك وبشخصيتك، وسعيدة أيضا لحضوركم جميعا. يمكن عندنا أمثلة جميلة المحاميات. أشكركم لحضوركم. Thank you very much for this a very good and lovely speech. Thank you so much and good night. And sorry again for what happened with the hackers, with the video, the bad video, and also sorry for many of people, they try to attend but they cannot because the hackers, they close this is what happened. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for thank you.
And yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Farid, if there is any question, I think ناخذ أسئلة أريد.
يعني هو everybody الكل سعيد. أنا قاعدة أسمع التعليقات وأشوف الكل يعني فرحان، وايد مطرشين لي مسجات ووايد معلقين. والجميل هو دعم الرجل لنا، يعني كثير من الرجال حاضرين المؤتمر وأشوف تعليقاتهم في الشاتنج، سعيدين جدا بهذه النماذج الجميلة والمشرفة من المحاميات من مختلف دول العالم. شكرا، يعطيكم ألف عافية. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. يلا باي باي.